All right, everyone, let's go quiet.
So I'm gonna feel for your spine, and then I'm just gonna place the bee to 1 inch to the right.
Sarah Levine is sick, and Lauren Rothman is giving her her first dose of medicine.
2,
She's helped almost 20 people learn how to sting themselves with bees.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm just gonna grab it. You're done.
Wow.
How'd that feel? You were gripping my hand.
I was gripping his hand, and
Did it hurt a lot?
It didn't hurt a lot. There was a little sting, but it's interesting because when I take any medicine that addresses the Lyme disease, I start to shake, and that's when I know that the medicine is working.
Lyme disease. It seems to be everywhere.
Justin has Lyme disease.
Superstar singer Avril Lavigne opening up about her battle with Lyme disease.
Iconic singer and actor Chris Christopherson.
The mother of supermodels Gigi and Bella Hadid.
But what actually is Lyme disease? According to the CDC, it's a bacterial infection spread by ticks characterized by fever, headache, fatigue, and a rash. It can be detected with a blood test, and most cases are curable with antibiotics. People like Rothman, however, say Lyme can be chronic. What are those symptoms?
They range from chronic fatigue, severe pain, body ache, muscle stiffness, joint pain, neurological issues such as like a feeling of unreality, paranoia, depression, anxiety, tremors. Some people have seizures. Some people lose the ability to walk.
That's a wide range.
It's a very wide range, and that's part of why it's so often misdiagnosed.
When did you get it?
My best guess is that I was bit by a tick in the Catskills. The antibiotics I took put me into remission because I felt fine. I actually moved to a different country. I was living a whole different life. And then I went into relapse later with the same illness.
Same symptoms exactly.
The chronic fatigue came back, but this time it was much worse and there were many other symptoms. Spending a lot of my time doing research on what could be wrong, going to lots of doctors, no one had any answers, lots of blood tests.
But it never crossed your mind, considering the antibiotics worked the first time, to take them again just to see if...
Well, I should say that at this point, I guess I had learned about bee venom therapy.
And you found all these people online.
Mm-hmm.
While still grassroots, bee venom therapy is percolating on social media, with advice and information on a private Facebook page to the sale of gear and workshops by its very own Instagram influencer. How large is the bee venom therapy community?
It's growing. I meet online, I would say 2 or 3 new people every week. And I have neighbors who sting.
Do people reach out to you for advice on stinging?
I would say that a year into this, I've probably mentored either in person or through solely internet support, probably close to 20 people.
The internet may be relatively new, but using bees to cure oneself is not. For thousands of years, folks have been harnessing the humble bee to cope with a variety of ailments. Lyme disease may be the most recent.
So that's the bee delivery, actually.
You get bees in the mail?
I do. I get 30 bees in the mail once a week.
Oh, you can hear them?
Yeah. They're
That's freaky.
They're in there buzzing around. It's very, very affordable. These beekeepers barely charge for the bees. They mostly charge for the shipping costs, and it's like my treatment is essentially like $60 to $70 a month. This was obviously kind of an intimidating process when I first started. When you've been conditioned to fear a creature, to like willingly expose yourself to something that stings, but you learn pretty quickly when working with honeybees that they're very gentle. Okay, and that'll do it.
This is like a torture device.
For the bees? Or for me?
For both.
Hopefully it's not a torture device for them, and it's certainly not for me because these bees have given me my life back.
So this is not painful for you at all?
It is not, but it varies individually. The reason I'm turning around is I'm just making sure that I can see the little white stinger. Thank you, bee.
You're stinging yourself 10 times right now.
And I do it 3 times a week.
By yourself.
Yep. I'm just trying to get this one to sting.
And when you say you're trying to get in, how do you get
She.
in?
They're all females.
Oh, I don't mean to be disrespectful.
It's okay. So I'm just trying to get the angle right, and I'm gonna tap her butt. The venom should use your nerves as sort of a pathway, and then the venom itself kills those bacteria, and you do this over and over and over again over the course of 2 to 3 years.
How long do they have to be in there for them to work their magic?
15 to 20 minutes is how long it takes for the venom sac to empty. You feel that. Sometimes I get a little bit achy, maybe a little bit of joint pain. It's super bizarre, but that's how you know the treatment is working.
The hard science on this isn't robust. One study, published in 2017, found that the active ingredient in honeybee venom had a greater effect against Lyme bacteria than antibiotics did. Even so, there haven't been any clinical trials. One reason, doctors don't seem to believe chronic Lyme exists at all.
And it's really not clear what these patients have, but it's pretty well recognized that it's not Lyme disease. I mean, I don't think anyone disputes that folks are suffering with something that claim they have chronic Lyme, but let's treat the right thing. Let's not just put a convenient label on it and give a misdirected treatment that might cause more harm than good. There's a cottage industry out there that is taking advantage of those people, ascribing their symptoms to Lyme disease when there was really no proof that they had Lyme disease, and offering a whole sundry of unvetted therapies for their ailments.
So now you have to pull all these things out.
Yep, one by one. You can see they're really, really tiny.
And these are the stingers.
Yep, and then that's the stinger, the little barb, and then the sac is at the end, which is empty now because it has put all the venom into my body.
What do you say to the folks that are like, Lauren, I feel your pain, I understand it, but this BVT, sting yourself with bees, that's all in your brain.
When you've lived in a body your whole life and you know what's normal for your body and what isn't, you know if something is physical or mental.
Right.
Like, I wanted answers, and I'm a journalist. I'm used to digging. And I think it's outrageous that people have to become their own doctors because they're left out in the cold, and it's really disgusting.